Holy shit, guys. I have like 282 views on my last video. That's crazy, bro. 15 of you guys, that's great. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching the videos. I know like a lot of you are only staying for 25 seconds, but hey, makes the channel grow. So if you're new here, welcome to the team. If you're not new here, thanks for staying. Let's get back into this video making. Sorry I've been gone for a couple days. Just had some stuff that I had to deal with. So yeah, here comes a new video. Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about the Thousand Sons. So the Thousand Sons are the 15th Legion of the Space Marine chapters. This was my first Legion that I got into when I first started playing Warhammer 40k. It's my favorite Legion. I love their models, I love their lore, they're cool, they're sick, they're space people. Space magicians. It's great. I love it. So yeah, so we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna talk about some key characters like Isaac Ariman and Magnus the Red. So yeah, so little background on the Thousand Sons. So the Thousand Sons got their name because they got this birth defect, which basically just turned them into chaos spawn. So they were turned into chaos spawn, then their brothers had to murder them, so there ended up just being 1,000 left. That's just like the short condensed version of it. And then when Magnus showed up, he told the Legion that he had a solution for it. The solution was losing his eye, giving it to Tzeentch, and learning power on how to stop it. But eventually, when the Horus Heresy broke out, it came back. Their homeworld is Prospero. That's where Magnus landed. We'll talk more about Prospero on Magnus when I talk about him. So yeah, that's like the main points of the Thousand Sons. So next is Isaac Ariman. So Isaac Ariman is the basically the chapter librarian almost, but they're all librarians. But he's like the main one under Magnus. Part of the Corvidae. The Corvidae is a large group of other sorcerers. I'll talk about that when I get more information. I've read a lot of the books on Ariban and the Thousand Sons, but it's been a while, so I probably need a little bit of a refresher. But yeah, that's like he's one of the big top dogs of the Legion. He's the one that started the rubric. It's called the Rubric of Ariman for a reason. He's the one that basically turned all of the Legion to dust, and is currently trying to find the Black Library in order to kind of reverse it. I'm not really too sure how it's going to work. They're kind of losing Rubric Marines, and the sorcerers are turning into Rubric Marines slowly because they're losing power, and since they're losing Marines, they're losing power in the Legion, and Tzeentch is getting all pissed off, so Ariman's trying to find a way how to reverse it, so that way that they can continue to rebuild the Legion from there. He's probably my favorite character of all of 40k, next to Karn. He's got a lot of good lore. He's got a lot of cool lore behind him. It's a lot of fun, learning, knowledge. Knowledge is power, and then going too deep and learning that you don't really want to go that far, because then you'll damn your Legion, right? So yeah, he had a twin brother who fell to it's called the Flesh Change. That fell to the Flesh Change, where he turned into a Chaos Spawn, and Ariman had to kill him. And Magnus was kind of pissed off, or Ariman was pissed off about it, because Magnus said that he could help him, but in the end, he didn't. So that's how Ariman basically is all mad at Magnus, and why they kind of are a little bit divided. So yeah, but we with Ariman doing the rubric of Ariman, Magnus banned him from Thousand Sons and made him an exile because of this. And Magnus has kind of been cooped up in his tower, mostly just reading and thinking. We'll talk about more on him coming back and stuff, but yeah, that's like the main point, is he's kind of been gone, thinking, but Ariman's mostly been in like the field, kind of exploring, looking for the Black Library, trying to figure out, reading the Book of Magnus, trying to figure out how he can reverse the rubric and go from there. There was one person that tried to stop it from happening. He's in Iskandar Kaon. He was one of the founding leaders of, or one of the founding members of the Black Legion with Abaddon. I'm not a big Abaddon fan. I really don't. That's just my opinion. He's a great character. He's got a lot of cool lore, but I don't like the Black Legion. They're not my thing. I'm all Ancient Corn over here. So Blood for the Blood Gods goes with the Skull Throne, and yeah. Next is Magnus. So Magnus has been kind of quiet for the last 10,000 years until recently. He just came out not too long, about a year ago, I would say. They gave him a model. He's attacked Fenris. He got beat back by, I think it's Grimnar? Logan Grimnar? I don't really know. I don't know Space Wolves lore. I just know that they went there. They messed up a lot of stuff there. Armon was there because I think he was looking for something in order for him to get into the Black Library. But nonetheless, they ended up getting beat back, losing that. And then he comes back later when Gilliman comes back. Gurlyman, as I like to say. Gurlyman comes back on his way to Mars, and they find the moon. I think the only reason why he I could be mixing up my lore, but I think the only reason why Magnus loses is because Gurlyman now has the sword of the Emperor and uses it to banish Magnus, but I could be wrong. I could be mixing up my lore here, but that's neither here nor there. So Magnus is the 15th Primarch of the Thousand Suns, lands on Prospero, is basically already communicating with the Emperor with his psychic powers that he has, and kind of already talking to him as he's lost in space. So he basically already knew the Emperor by the time the Emperor had came to claim him as his son. So I thought that was really cool, because that's like showing that Magnus has always been very second to the Emperor in psychic powers, and how arrogant Magnus is because he thought he would be the favorite son for having these powers. But inevitably it would lead to his downfall, with later being the Council of Nicaea, which would ban psychers and librarians. That Thousand Suns kind of like, well, we won't do it that hard. We'll do it a little bit, which ended up getting him beat up again. The reason why he hates the Space Wolves is because when Magnus learned of the Horus Heresy, he broke through the webway of the Emperor, and with that, the Emperor sent the Executioner, Lehman Russ, to go and claim Magnus and bring him back to Terra for a big old spanking. But that never happened because Magnus Horus told Lehman Russ to kill Magnus, and this kind of swayed Magnus into not doing anything. He knew he messed up, so he stopped, covered his Prospero in a psychic shield, and then the Space Wolves invaded and murdered almost all of their legion, all of the cities, until Magnus finally kind of came out of his little. Sorry, I was interrupted. I don't really remember where I was. I think I was talking about the Siege of Prospero, that's right. So after that, Magnus kind of picked up where they were. I forget what it was called. It starts with an I think. And teleported it to the planet of the Sorcerers, which is really cool. I think that's where the true beginnings start. And then the Horus Heresy happens. And then I just recently read the Siege of Terra book, Magnus book. That was really good. Magnus wasn't really a demon until we got into the Imperial Palace and he fought Vulcan. And that's when he started to lose and get really raged up. and then Tzeentch gave him all these powers, and that's when he was turned into a demon, and then was plucked from the Imperial Palace. What's really cool though is that the Emperor and Vulcan were trying to convince Magnus to stay, and he would essentially become the Primarch of the Grey Knights. From what I could tell, was the Grey Knights, because they'd be psychically powered. They would be just as strong, just as smart. But Magnus kind of didn't want to abandon his sons because they were his sons, and he worked extremely hard to help them and thrive. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, so this is going to be part one of my Warhammer Armies lore videos. I really enjoyed Thousand Sons lore. Whenever I finish the Ahriman Eternal book, I'll give you all an update on what Ahriman is up to. I don't know any other books that Magnus is in right now. I never really read any of the Indominus Crusade books. I'm not really a girly man fan, so I never read them. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you enjoyed this kind of content and I can keep doing it. It seems like you guys did with 282 views, so I'm going to keep trying to do it. I'll throw a little more gameplay in there eventually. Maybe start some Retribution, Dawn of War Retribution, Dawn of War Soulstorm mod that I have, where we can defend a base as Imperial Guard, Thousand Sons, World Eaters, or Blood Ravens. Yeah. So let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see. Like this video. Keep on subscribing. I appreciate it. Peace.